Simone, welcome to Linea Rock. Great to have you. So we're here presenting Omega, which is the 8th Epica album, and it's coming out on February 26 in different editions. And actually, it comes 5 years after the previous one, which was the holographic principle. And it's the first time that it took you took such a long creative break, and also you found yourself working in the middle of a pandemic. Did it affect the mood of the new songs and maybe also the production timing? And did composing music and recording it help you escape, like a sort of exorcism, this period that we are living?
That is a lot of questions in one question. Well, we had a 5-year break. Not really a 5-year break. I mean, after the holographic principle was released, we had the biggest world tour ever. And up until that, we had a very fast pace where we were writing, recording, touring all at the same time since the beginning of Epica. And we felt like we needed to step back from touring to charge our batteries, to feel inspired again, to be with our family and friends, which had a positive effect on Omega, of course. During our 3 year of touring, we wrote our biography, The Essence of Epica. We remixed the Design Universe. We released 2 EPs, Attack on Titan, The Solar System. So we were still working on a lot of other projects, but just no touring and no pressure of writing a full-length studio album. We started doing that 2019, October, November. And then we started recording the album in January 2020. And everything went well up until the middle of March, when we wanted to record the lead vocals from Mark and myself. The lockdown came and we were forced to search for alternative options. So only the lead vocals were recorded during the pandemic, and Mark stayed in Sicily and recorded at home. And I stayed in the south of Germany and recorded in a studio nearby. But everything else was recorded, luckily, like the choir and the orchestra. If that was planned a little bit later, we probably would have never have finished the album.
Sure. Was the music healing this period for you? Or actually, when the record was ready, you just took, another break?
Well, the record was finished in April, beginning of May. And originally it was supposed to be released in September, and we would have gone on tour in October. So that was our first mindset. So then you get into, the ideas of, okay, we're going to do photo shoot, video shoot, we're going to have interviews, promo, traveling and all of that. And then during the pandemic, nothing was certain anymore.
Yeah.
So we made the decision quite early to release the album later and also postpone the tour, because we felt quite early on that it was not going in the right direction. At first I thought our tour is going to be in October, we're going to be fine, but then as the months proceeded, I felt like, no, this is going to take longer.
Sure.
So in the meantime, when I listened to the album, sometimes it felt a little bit bittersweet, because we knew, okay, we're going to release it, but we don't know if we can tour. And then we had to postpone the European tour again. So it feels very bittersweet in a way. And knowing that you have the music finished, you're proud of it, you want to show it to everybody. And I said it felt a little bit like having a huge present underneath the Christmas tree, and we still cannot open it, Still have to be patient.
The opening track is Alpha, and the circle of the songs, let's say, closes with Omega, which is the title track of the record. Omega usually, means the end, closing the circle. Also on the cover, there's human labyrinth, let's call it like that, which maybe is part, of all of us, with the ankh in the hand, as the key of life. What's the sense, behind the whole concept, music and visuals, and why it represents at its best, this record and this moment in the career of Epica?
Well, the album title, the idea came from Mark, and he was inspired by the theory which is called the omega point, which is like the end part of evolution. The Big Bang is a creation of the universe, and the omega point is when the Earth is reaching the omega point, everything becomes one with divine unification, and that's combined with the emerald tablets, the oldest found wisdom stones, were a huge inspiration for Mark for the lyrics. We decided to call the album Omega because it was short and punchy. Mm-hmm. Alpha, Omega, beginning and the end of the story. That science and spirituality have to come together to find the true meaning of life. We are constantly searching within ourselves. That's what you see on the cover, the labyrinth that we have within ourselves that we try to navigate through. And sometimes we get lost in life, we get distracted, we get seduced by the darkness, so to say, and we have to find our way out of the labyrinth. And when you get out of the labyrinth, you are, so to say, like spiritually enlightened. It's a very spiritual album. It's very profound. Talks about the inner yin yang that we have, the balance between light and dark, good and bad. And it's not the end of Epica, it's just the end of the story. Also the Kingdom of Heaven trilogy. This is the final Kingdom of Heaven song. And that's basically it. When people heard that the album was going to be called Omega, they thought that might be the end of it, but that's not.
Special guests on the record are Vicky of The Agonist and Zaire of Myrat. So from Canada to Tunisia, long ride. How this came along, and also Juice van den Broek, I hope I pronounce it correctly, produced for the third time the record. What's its added value to Epica compared, to Sasha Peth, who worked with you earlier for about 10 years in the Epica history?
Well, Vicky, to start off with, she's doing like a speech. So she's talking on the album, spoken word, so to say, in one of the songs. And Zahir is singing like the Arabian chanting, atmospherical vocals and Code of Life together with me. And Joost is now our producer since the Quantum Enigma. And this is also the first time that he mixed the whole album. Sasha Peth is also still involved with Epica. He's working with us when we are writing vocal lines. So at the end, when the songs are finished, we go over the vocal lines with Sasha as well. So we still work with him. And and Joost is definitely a very organized, like multi-talented musical centipede, and he's a workaholic. He lives for his work, and he keeps everybody in check. He's the babysitter at the same time, so he does everything.
The road to Omega already started since February 1st. A journey in the journey, let's call it that, online. Online every day with exclusive in our competitions, special contests, giveaways, and much, much more. Whose idea was that? And I guess it's not a case that it comes, in this peculiar period we're all living in, to make a stronger connection. We all need, to have a connection. So that's a great idea, but who's the idea?
I think Isaac and Koen were talking about that a while back, that it would be a great way in this, of course, difficult times to get everybody involved, everybody, to have like a second Christmas in a way. In December you have the Advent calendar, and we wanted to do something similar for Epica to make it just more special in these dark times. Also, as a way of saying thank you for our loyal fans, and just to create positivity and excitement around the new upcoming album.
Third single, Rivers, which we're gonna go and see the video now, features water in the leading role, let's say, and you as well. Water has different meanings, in life. Philosophy represents peace, but can become a tempest, can be dirty, can be pure. What symbology did you want to give it? And is it true that Rivers was just a working title in the beginning? And there's also the video that we're going to see was filmed, is that correct, in just one day in Germany?
Yeah, it's true that the working title was indeed Rivers. And when I was writing the lyrics for the ballad, I tried to find a different title, but the working title already gave me the inspiration to write the lyrics. So I thought, why change a good name? And that's normally never the case when we have working titles for the songs. We change them in the end. But we kept Rivers because it was just the best title. And water is basically symbolizing the flow of life. You can have ebb, you can have tide, which means the ups and downs in life. And you can also sometimes feel like you're drowning in your emotions and your problems in certain situations in life, and that you have to fight and swim against the tide and keep your head above water, so to say. Yeah. And the video was indeed recorded in one day in the studio close by. Jens and I were the only ones on set, so I had to do hair and makeup and styling, like getting the clothes and everything. And I worked with Jens on the production, so we decided which scenes we were going to shoot, and it was like a creative project of mine and Jens. And at first it was only supposed to be like a visualizer video, which should be very simple, but we decided to put more effort into it because we did it for the art.
A lot of listeners are writing up, and we have connections from all over the world, also from California, and there are some Italian fans which are asking some questions to you. Eleonora is asking if you will ever have a collaboration with Taria. That would be very interesting. And Christian is asking if there's any song from the Epica repertoire that you really dig to play live, because Mark in a recent interview said that Obsessive Devotion is his absolute favorite because there's a lot of interaction with the audience. So which is yours?
I'm in contact with Taria, so if we ever get the opportunity to work together, we both want to do that. So that's probably going to happen one day. I don't know when. But we talked about it many times already, and we are in contact. So, and my favorite Epica song to perform live has always, or ever since we wrote the song, was Unchain Utopia. I just really like the drive of the song, and from the new album, I'm really looking forward to play Code of Life. Code of Life. Code of Life live. Yeah.
Simone, what comes more natural to you? Maybe when you're under the shower, the operatic singing or the melodic pop rock style? And do you have a discipline? Do you have any tricks? Because your voice is always perfect live. We never saw you, not in perfect shape. You're always in perfect shape. So do you have any warm-up discipline and any tricks?
The singing that comes most natural to me would probably be more classical singing, because that's also what I was trained in for many years. But pop and rock it's the same. But I do enjoy singing classical because of the way that the voice changes and what the voice is capable of creating. But the voice, you don't recognize the speaking voice that much as if you were to sing rock or pop. Any tips, I am not really a big warm-up fan. I mean, it is of course important to warm up, but I don't take like half an hour to an hour to warm up. I do very minimal humming. I do the Lux Box, which is the little tube that you put in a bottle of water, and it's like submerged in 1.5 centimeters of water, and you blow on the straw and you sing at the same time. So that's a very relaxed way of warming up your vocal cords.
Your ultimate vocal hero, male and female, 2 names.
Like male singer, I don't know. I really like Elton John. I think he's a great singer. Female singer, it's difficult. Whitney Houston.
Oh, wow. Since you had more time for this record, okay, you said that, the music was already done, and then you added vocals, then you stopped again, and there was this bittersweet feeling. But did you have even more chances to listen again and again to the songs? And do you like actually to listen to your singing and to your songs before, the release? And are you hypercritical with yourself, or you're pretty much satisfied because you are very focused when you work?
Well, after the album is done, we have to listen to it a lot of times for the mixing and the mastering. So also the vocals are recorded at the end. So by the time the album is finished, you're still very much into the whole album. And I have to check the edits of the vocals if I like it, if I want to change some things as well. And today I listened to the album again because my son, he had a friend over, and I asked her, because she likes Epica, if she wants to hear the new album. And she's like, yes. And I asked Vincent, which song should I play? And he says Code of Life. That's his favorite and one of my favorites as well. And but I don't listen to it that often, or I don't know. Of course I am practicing the songs for when we go on stage again. So, and I just love to sing along to it because I miss the singing. So that's something that I like to do. But it's not that I listen to it and think, wow, that's me. I just listen to it and it's Epica somehow. It's still that's disconnected in a way.
Do you think that thanks, to symphonic metal, the role of women being front women in the metal scene has been reevaluated in a sense? How do you feel it?
I mean, there have also been rock bands with female singers. You have Blondie, you have Garbage. I think Roxette. I think that's a rock band as well. So I think in the rock scene, it was more established to have a female singer as the face of the band and the voice of the band. And definitely in symphonic metal, that's where it was more alive in the beginning. But black metal bands have been using female vocals as well as a way to complete the sound. I mean, not as a lead vocalist, but more as a second singer, I would say. Like Cradle of Filth used to do that, and some other black metal bands that I listened to in the past. But it's becoming more popular and more respected, I guess, but still a minority.
As you said before, you worked as a makeup artist, and you said also not only on yourself, but as a job. And you've always created your own stage looks. Plus, you are, the main focus of the band, Epica, for your image and your beauty. You're always perfect. Have you ever felt any pressure, to have a certain image and always being so perfect? And those, Abyss of Time special outfits that we saw in the video, will you use them also on stage, or they would be uncomfortable live, on a show?
The outfits that I'm wearing in the video were just for the video, so I don't own those clothes. They were from the designer, so they were basically borrowed for the shoot.
Okay.
And I guess when you're a female, then there's more pressure on how you look like, I guess, your appearance. I always enjoy, the getting ready, hair, makeup, clothing. It's part of the job, but I don't mind it. I like it. So for me, it's a fun part of the job. And but I have days where I don't want to look, I don't want to feel that I have to look perfect, because I'm definitely not. But people expect that, of course, of you, and I guess that's normal, or that's how it is with females, that you are not allowed to grow old, to get wrinkles. And for guys, it's okay, they can get gray hair and they look sexy, but women are supposed to be vampires. But one day I will have gray hair and I have wrinkles as well, and I'm happy to have that. I'm just grateful to grow older.
The Epic Apocalypse Tour featuring Epica, Apocalyptica and Will has been postponed once again, as you said, to January 2022, due, of course, to ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. All over Europe, you will come back, including Italy, on January 16 at Fabric Milano. What do you miss the most, and what you don't miss at all of the life on the road? And how do you see the summer festival situation? And do you already have a production for the new tour? Do you know how the stage will look like? Do you have any new ideas already?
We are working on a stage decoration. Like, as we speak, we want to have a next level of, visual production for the Omega tour cycle. I miss singing on stage. I miss traveling. I miss interacting with the fans. And I don't miss the dirty toilets in the tour bus.
Okay. That's precise. And how do you see the summer? Do you think there will be some events, or you don't see it at all?
I don't know.
Okay. Like all of us. All right. Maybe one episode of The Road to Omega will be, we'll be talking about the next tour, and you will give up something of the new stage, or it's going to be a surprise at the first show?
I guess it's going to be a surprise at the first show, because we cannot travel at the moment to show you.
Okay. So it's 20 years of Epica. How would you describe, in just one word, or at least briefly, this fantastic journey, and where will it bring you in the next 20 years?
Well, these first almost 20 years went by really fast. We traveled the world many times and played on many stages all over the world. It's been wild, I guess. At the moment, it's very quiet. Not what I'm used to, I guess. Yeah. And I don't know what the future brings. At the moment, we are in the worst part of history in music, I guess, with the pandemic. That's something we never experienced before. And we have to be extra patient and hope that we'll get back to the stages this year, but most likely next year, I think.
Maybe, after a long pause like this one, we will start again, more energetic than ever. So I'm sure that Epica, will do the best. Thanks so much for your time, Simone. Now we're closing the show with the Freedom video. Is the video that we're going to play now to end this interview. Do you want to introduce it for us?
Yes. Hello, everybody. Ciao a tutti. This is the last video for tonight. This is our second single, Freedom Rules Within. I hope that you like it, and I hope that you like the new album. And thank you so much for joining me in this interview.
Ciao, Simone. Thank you so much. See you soon, hopefully in Italy.
Ciao.
Ciao.